These days, kids are more plugged into technology than ever before. Playing video games may seem harmless enough, but there are families who say there are real dangers.
Our next guest felt the impact in their own families and are on a mission now to help others. We welcome Dr. Andrew Doan, the author of Hooked on Games, and Melanie Hempe from Matthews, who started a social media crusade for families who are dealing with a technology or video game addiction. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Doan, you were actually hooked on video games. How did you know?
Well, you know, 14 years ago, I was going to take a life. I was either going to kill myself or kill my wife. And my wife separated from me for 3,000 miles, and she took the kids, who were 1 and 2 at the time. I was playing 50 to 100 hours a week for over 10 years.
You were?
During med school. It's easier to get into med school than it is to graduate from med school, actually. So, I'm sorry, it's actually harder to get into med school than it is to graduate. So the joke is B equals MD. So I was a functional addict. I would go to med school during the day, sleep 2 to 3 hours at night, play until 5, 6 in the morning, sleep through classes. And the addiction drove me to 50 to 100 hours a week.
You see, video game addiction can be like a drug addiction. Similar?
Absolutely. When you take MRI scans of a video game addict, they light up in the prefrontal cortex and the dopamine pathways, just like a crack addict, heroin addict, alcohol addict. Same mechanism.
So now do you avoid video games altogether?
I have to. I've trained my brain to like that so much. So when I wrote my book, Hooked on Games, I actually went through withdrawals, looking at screenshots, studying, what games are out there. My wife was like, man, you're going to die. She thought because I was shaking and had the shakes. And after that, she said, you deserve it. That's payback.
Right. Now, this sounds extreme, though, but Melanie, you said you dealt with this in your family, too.
Yes, we did. I think a lot of families do. A lot of families deal, when we have children, especially boys, that are in love with their game, all of a sudden, they go from the innocent pastime to you're the game cop now. And I got tired of being the game cop. I was the bad mom who was constantly telling them to get off the game, do something different. You call them for dinner and they're on one more level, mom, all that kind of stuff. So then what happens when children play a lot, they build this habit up, they go to college, and then they don't know how to stop in college. And a lot of boys do poorly their first year, especially, and they drop out. So we've struggled with a lot of this in our own home.
Can we define, though, what addiction is? Because as you say this, I know a lot of parents are watching and think, yeah, well, my son, he plays every day, but he doesn't play much more than an hour, 45 minutes. When does it become a problem? How do you know that it's actually an addiction? Okay,
so first there's you can go to our website, realbattle.org. There's a video game addiction survey, and it's an 11-point question survey. So some of the questions are like, is your son or daughter lying about the number of hours they're playing? And are they underestimating the time? Are they trading other life activities for gaming? Are they skipping out on chores, homework? Or is their grade suffering? Are they stealing money? Some of these games require money to play or to buy enhancements in the game. They're running up their parents' credit cards secretly, or they steal, or all they want for birthdays and Christmas are basically video games, and they want to spend all their cash on that one thing. So where you spend your money is where your heart goes.
But why is this so bad? If a kid says, but I just like this. This is my hobby. Maybe your hobby is gardening. My hobby is playing video games. You say what to that?
Well, for families and for children who are really young, they definitely should not be playing. So what we recommend is before the age of 13 that there's no gameplay at all.
None whatsoever.
Because of the developmental things that need to happen with young children. The touch, the movement, the attachment, things that need to happen in their life. In the biochemistry of the brain, the things that need to happen are very clear about what needs to happen with them when they're young. So video games don't offer any of that. The visual simulations, and you can talk a minute about that.
Absolutely. So see, kids, when they develop, you only have 100,000 hours between the age of 0 to 18 to develop their brain. That sounds like a lot, but the average child now spends 7.5 hours per day in the U.S. on digital media. That's not even educational content. That's 50 hours a week. You add that all up, they spend 30% to 40% of their time on media. So that's what's teaching them lessons. So what happens is the child is underdeveloped in their ability to move, their ability to be coordinated, their attachment to their mothers. Did you know that if you actually do an MRI scan while you look at your phone, you actually light up like you're in love? We are now falling in love.
Well, I do have an iPhone 5.
There you go.
But when you look at a BlackBerry, you don't elicit the same neuronal synapses. So what happens is when a child becomes attached to their iPad, they become less attached to their mothers.
How do you break the attachment, Melanie?
Well, we chose to go game-free in our home. And
I bet that went over really well.
Well, it actually is fine. You know, I think that when you remove that stress from your home, gaming is very stressful for kids. They're on a roller coaster. Would you put your child on a roller coaster for 4 hours a week or even 1 hour a day? I don't think so. So it's like a roller coaster of the chemicals that are released. So I think they feel more loved. I feel like they have more white space in their life to do other things. They are more patient. They don't quit things so easy because it's hard. Life is hard. We need to teach them when they're young that things don't just get solved by clicking a button.
Or you don't download the cheats and figure it out.
That's exactly right. So going game free is not that hard. I mean, it was like the best thing we ever did. And guess what? I am not a game cop anymore. I'm retired. I don't have to set the kitchen timer and try to manage the content. And most moms have not ever played before. So most moms really have no idea what their kids are playing.
Right.
They don't even understand video games. So tonight we're going to explain all that. At our seminar tonight for moms, we're going to explain a lot about what they don't understand about this whole topic.
We're going to tell you about this event tonight. Dr. Doan and Melanie will speak on this tonight at this event called Kids, Brains, and Video Games. Kids, Brains, and Video Games starts at 7 o'clock tonight at Covenant Day School in Matthews. It's free, but you have to RSVP if you want to go. realbattle.org, and that's the website that Dr. Doan mentioned a moment ago. realbattle.org. Go there to RSVP. Oh, I would love to go. Great. Thank you so much for being here today to talk about this.
Thank you for inviting us.
Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure.